Hi, I'm Rose Taruc. I'm here with the Asian Pacific Environmental Network as part of this grassroots groups of color delegation at Copenhagen. I just got here today. Our delegation is really amazing and really one of the only grassroots groups of color delegations in Copenhagen from the US. It involves the Movement Generation Justice and Ecology Project, the Grassroots Global Justice Alliance, and the Right to the City Alliance. For us, and why I came here to Copenhagen at the UN Climate Summit is really that our work with environmental justice and low-income communities of color, that is just an extension of what this climate justice movement is about. You know, greenhouse gas pollution is pollution by any other name. And so when we know that low-income communities of color are first and worst hit by environmental and economic destruction, that's the same story with climate destruction. And so, what I hope to bring here to Copenhagen and the climate solutions work that we do at APEN is that we have to make sure we take care of those who are first and worst hit by the climate crisis, and also that as we see climate solutions being implemented through these programs at the global level, at this United Nations Climate Summit, all the way to the local, as our governments are thinking about how to create programs that reduce greenhouse gas reduction, we want to make sure that our folks, low-income communities of color, are part of receiving those benefits and those opportunities as funding and resources become available to tackle this problem. And so, you know, some of the things that we see around energy efficiency and green housing and green building, we want our communities to benefit from that green infrastructure, because for a long time our communities have been taken out of the equation in terms of where resources go to our communities. And so if they're looking at those as climate solutions, we want those solutions in our communities too, and that's a way that we can tackle this problem of environmental racism in our communities. For me also, coming here personally, as a mother, as a woman of color, you know, I tell this story that from, you know, my fearless mother instincts really kick in when we're talking about climate and the science, and not just the science, but the foretelling of what could happen or what's already happening around destruction that's happening all over the planet. And so when I say I put my babies on this planet and I birthed my babies to be on this planet, I want them to survive. And so if the predictions and the science is telling us that our world is going to be inhabitable, whether it's people or animals or just the planet itself, yeah, my mother's instincts kick in and I say no way. And so what are we going to do to make sure that my babies are protected, that other people's babies are protected, and that we don't do this to ourselves? And so that personally drives me. And also recently, over a couple months ago, it's typhoon season in Asia. And so the recent typhoons that have hit the Philippines where I was born, and to see my family affected by that, and their homes getting flooded and their farms getting flooded and the mountains sliding down, cutting off connection to other parts of the family and other parts of the country, that to me is, you know, climate change is happening to my family wherever my family is. And for me, as a Filipino immigrant to the United States, to me, you know, there's so many of us that are global citizens, and we have to act like global citizens, and that what affects family outside of our national borders affects us as people and as families. And so there are no boundaries anymore, and climate change erases those boundaries. And so it hits home every time I see climate disruption, you know, whether it's in Asia or whether it's in Oakland, or whether it's where friends live in New Orleans, in Alaska, wherever, that affects me, and that affects the communities that I work with. Coming here to Copenhagen, there's still a lot that I think I could learn, and a lot that that's about firsthand stories from folks, from countries, from communities that are experiencing climate change. And I have to deepen my analysis so that that analysis can push me further in my leadership in how to tackle climate change as an individual, as an organization, and as a movement in the United States. And so what I hope to see come out of my delegation's participation here in Copenhagen is that we really see that the movement for climate justice has to be stronger than what it already is. Because if the resistance and the politics that corporations and powerful governments around the world are going to push us into ecological devastation, that's not a path that's acceptable. And so what is it that our movements need to do to step up our game, right? And so even for the United States, I think there's some strong local actions around energy and climate plans. Nationally, I think there's a renewed call for the environmental justice movement, racial justice movement, economic justice movement. A lot of the sectors of the movements that we care about, we need to come together to figure out how it is that we're going to link all of our sectoral movements with each other to create an even bigger and broader and badass movement for climate justice that's going to take this problem head on.